3, 2, 1, and we are live. All right, I'll let comments roll in as people hop on board. All right, bunch of viewers. What's up, people? So this is round 2, the Broscience Hour of Power. Although we're being more accurate, 30 minutes in actuality will likely be the time frame. So for those of you guys who are new here, you haven't followed me for a long time, I used to do these live Periscope sessions back in 2017-18. You can ask questions. I will give you the best answer that I can in a short amount of time, compact amount of time. And I like to do these because it keeps me fresh, keeps my knowledge base fresh, keeps me up to date on what the market needs, what my customer, my audience, what their needs are, what people want. And also, if I don't know something, I don't know. So it's good for learning as well at the same time. So whoever wants to ask a question, just feel free to fire it off in the comments. I've got it set up so everything should show up very clearly and I can answer it in real time. Let's go. Thanks, Zach. And for whatever reason, people are always hesitant to ask questions. So there's usually about a 1-minute delay in people actually being brave enough to type something in, which I'm okay with. You guys just to kind of get to sit and watch me peruse my browser. So let's see, how does this actually look on X? Here's a question I've asked a few times before, I've never got an answer. All right, let's go. Here, let me post this up. So I did 5x5 for a couple of years, big squat and deadlift gains, almost none in bench press and OHD, I assume overhead, I think OHP, overhead press. So why did my deadlift and my squat go up and not my bench press? So 2 reasons. Number 1, genetics. Some people do not grow much, they do not get much strength gains from barbell bench press and overhead barbell pressing. And that always sounds crazy to people because how could that be? You know, Starting Strength said that it works for everybody. It doesn't work for everybody. Depending upon your strength genetics, for a lot of guys, bench press and overhead press is a very muscle-driven activity. The bench press and overhead press, the barbell version of them, don't actually stimulate much muscle growth in any of the muscles that are working, whether it be pectorals or front delt or triceps. So you get this lift that just gets stuck. It goes nowhere after a few months. Why not? What's the problem? The problem is that you need to train like a bodybuilder. You need to use some different exercises, better exercises, and you need to actually target your muscles for growth. A global movement that distributes all the load across all the muscles and doesn't allow for full range of motion in any one muscle is not going to be good exercise for muscle development. And for many guys, as you yourself found out, it's not actually a good exercise for strength development either. If you want more strength, you need bigger muscles. If you have bigger muscles, you have more strength. It's 2 sides of the same coin. So my suggestion for you would be switch to dumbbells, get really strong in the 10-rep range with dumbbells, dumbbell chest press, machine chest press, seated dumbbell shoulder press, do some lateral raises. And if you spent 6 months getting your pectorals, your deltoids, and your triceps built up as possible, I guarantee you, if you started incorporating bench press again, not as the main lift, but just as a lift that you do in your workout, you would be stronger than you were before. Go to order at Panda Express. So I usually get the grilled teriyaki chicken. Excellent macros. It's like, I think it's around 30. I don't know. Someone quote me on this. I want to say it's around like 30 grams of protein in a serving. You can get triple serving of that. It's 90 grams of protein. You get like the super veggies, so you can get with 0 carbs. You can also get with white rice if you have a post-workout meal or pre-workout meal potentially. So you get your carbohydrates, you get your protein in, and overall the macros are excellent. And it's typically what I order whenever I go out to, if I'm traveling, usually in an airport, and I just need some protein, I'll go to Panda Express, or sometimes there's a knockoff Panda equivalent. Thoughts on naturally reducing cortisol? Get more sleep. There's 2 things. Number 1, sleep. If sleep's fucked, cortisol's up. Kind of rhymes. There are no magical hacks around reducing cortisol when your sleep is just screwed. You can't do it. You could try, hypothetically, take ashwagandha, take these things, those things. It's not going to make any real difference. Sleep's fucked, cortisol goes up. Number 2, whatever is stressing you out, get rid of it. Which seems very blatant, right? Just get rid of it. Yeah. The best way to handle stress is to remove stress entirely. So whether that's firing somebody or quitting a job or telling your boss to get fucked and go do your own thing, I don't know. Maybe it's a divorce. I have no idea. Well, it's probably more stressful. But the best way to handle stress is to get rid of stress entirely. How many calories should I bump up during a lean bulk? So a lean bulk bulking is a bit of a misconception still to this day. Bulking means, the more accurate term, the more accurate way to phrase it would be, I would like to gain more muscular body weight, and I don't want to gain weight too fast and get fat in the process. Now, you can gain weight very quickly. That's a dirty bulk where you just pile on calories. You can gain weight slowly. The only difference is you're just eating less calories. That's it. There's no grandiose, like, what's the big difference? Dirty bulking, 1,000 plus calorie surplus, 2,000. Lean bulk, 200 extra calories a day. It's a slow process of weight gain. It doesn't mean you stay perfectly lean. Eventually your body fat won't go up, but you're just simply not gaining weight that fast. I mean, typically for about 1 pound a week, maybe slightly less than that even. But that's the difference. The only difference between dirty bulking and lean bulking is just your calorie intake. So you can gain weight slowly, you can gain weight quickly. And most guys, they find that gaining weight slowly is the better path to take than trying to gain as much weight as possible, in which case you just get bloated and you're fat jacked at that point. How to go about, okay, let me put this on the screen. How to go about an imbalance in shoulder size, but not strength. I've been training bigger side, but smaller. Still not catching up. So train both sides. Use dumbbells, use unilateral movements. Train with the equal volume. And whenever your weaker side taps out, set's done. That's it. That's simple. Why do you think guys are less masculine nowadays? As a nerdy guy myself, any advice on how to become more masculine? Why are men less masculine today? So we could go off on a big tangent about this one. But if I was to make it simple, we could talk about feminism. We can talk about the social environment of this is very Spike Club. Probably all of your teachers were women from elementary school all the way to college. You grew up being dominated by your mom. Your dad was a chump. You didn't have any red-blooded alpha fucking male role models that you were able to emulate. You didn't know any guys who were like that. Maybe there was a few Chads in high school, but you weren't that guy. So now you're nerdy. As you said, you'd like to be more macho, basically, and you don't know what to do. The way I deem masculinity, and this is not my original idea, but I get this from Jack Donovan, who's a good friend of mine, great writer, The Way of Men. But there's 4 basic fundamental qualities of being a man, and this almost goes beyond masculinity. This is this basic competency at life. All right. Number 1, you need to be strong. What does that mean? You need physical and mental strength. We're biological. We're animals. We like to fuck. We like to fight. We gravitate towards men who are strong. Why? Because it's primal. It's biology. The bigger lion gets more girls. The bigger lion kicks more ass. So the first thing we can do as men to feel more masculine, to embody our inherent qualities, since you have to believe that these things are in you. You're not wearing them. They are you. You got to go to the gym and you need to train. You need to get bigger. You need to punch some muscle. You need to get under the bar. You need to get on the incline bench press. You need to do some dips and some curls. You need to leg press. You need to put on muscle, at least 20 pounds of muscle. So number 1, go do that. That's strength. Number 2, you need courage. So in life as a man, if you have no courage, if you have no ability to face fear, you're useless because you're not decisive, because you can't be tested, because you really just cannot be competent in any situation in which you'll have to be under stress. To be able to handle stress requires courage. It requires some degree of resiliency. So if you're weak and you have no courage, what good are you? You're not. You're a fucking deadbeat. So you have to put yourself into stressful situations. Purposeful stress, not stupid stress. Purposeful stress. You need to build your resilience. That's number 2. You need to develop courage, and courage can mean It could be going to war, right, rushing ahead on the battle. It could be starting your own company and taking the plunge that way. There's lots of ways to express courage. That's number two. Number three, you need skill. You need mastery in something. So why do we respect intelligent men? Why do we respect men like Elon Musk? Oh, he's super rich and he's a Chad. No, Elon Musk is intelligent and he's used his brain power to develop an incredibly deep skill stack that enables him to change the world. And that's very masculine. And on a basic level, you need to develop your skill set in all respects in life, in all avenues of life. What does that mean? That means intellectually, academically, professionally, with friends, with women, relationships. You need to develop your skills and you need to be a more, again, competent individual in a variety of situations, both in making money, both in talking with people, both in this how you deal with your own personal universe. So you have mastery, you got skill. And then number four, to be a man, you have to be honorable. You have to be respectful. You have to respect other people. You have to demonstrate that you can acknowledge somebody else and honor them. And if you don't have that, if you're disrespectful to others, people will be disrespectful to you. And men who are dishonorable, men who are not trustworthy, they are shunned by both men and by women. So those are the four things. Read The Way of Men, Jack Donovan. That's a good book. I think that's a great starting point for guys like yourself, where you need some mental frames, some mindset changes, and how you should think about yourself and your relationship with the world at large. Hopefully that answered the question. Are you still training kickboxing? I'm still training kickboxing, and yes, I am still in Texas. So, although I'm not actually in Texas right now, I am on the East Coast. What an answer. Thanks. I'll add a fifth, be a God-fearing man. Sure. There's a difference between being a good man who's moral and being good at being a man. Those are, in fact, two different things. They're not always mutually exclusive, but they can be. Most villains that we look at in fiction, they're actually very masculine, but they're immoral. And then if you look at the heroes typically at the start of the heroic journey, they're not actually very masculine. I'll use an example everybody knows, like Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker doesn't start out as the hero. He doesn't start out as the warrior. He goes through a journey. He has the man that comes along and sends him into this magical world, and he has to go build this set of skills, and he has to face his fears. That's a very masculine story arc. So what you start as is not typically what you finish. That's why, again, as a man, especially for guys where they feel like they're deficient in these things, you can't go into this process thinking that you are playing a part. You have to sincerely believe that you have these qualities in you. Okay, thank you, Ross C. Or that. Luke Skywalker's a fag and Star Wars is fake and gay. Sure, bro. Go do your own broadcast and you can espouse your own opinions. There's always the fun thing about doing live broadcasts. There's always people that will hop on just to troll. Just the nature of human beings. How are we at? We're almost 15 minutes in. So what other questions, gentlemen? And there's probably like 10 e-girls watching this. We love our e-girls, don't we? Oh, there's a whole bunch. Okay. So how do I overcome the mental aspect of, here, I'll put this on the screen. How do I overcome the mental aspect of feeling like I have to lift weights every day or walk 1,000 steps my calories and I consume to lose weight? Well, the easiest way to lose weight is simply cut your calorie intake. You can try to exercise your excess fat off. That is a strategy. It's not going to be sustainable once your activity level goes back to, let's say a more normal pace. So you have to cut calories and manage your deficit. This is why I do in the fat loss group with my guys I have right now. They're learning how to they're learning how to scientifically manage their calorie intake, manage their macros, and also refeed and not burn themselves out dieting, where they have to have a really high level of activity and then just cutting calories arbitrarily, hoping the number keeps going down the scale. So hopefully that helps. I know you from Twitter, my favorite fellow. Thanks. Fisher King is a great guy. Never met him personally, but I'm sure we get along. Done any sandbag training, incorporating my regimen, my regime. I've used sandbags. I don't personally find them useful. You can do carries with them. You can pick them up. It mimics almost like a dead body, honestly, because it's just inert weight. So, different requires blue collar strength. Aside from picking them up, that's about it. There's no progression beyond just picking up heavy sandbags. If that's relevant to you and you like having that ability, cool. If you want to go do that as part of your training, you have a garage gym. But I guess why not? But the way I look at training, since I talk about training a lot, right? I talk about fitness a lot. The way I look at fitness is I always want to recommend things that apply to the broadest range of people and are going to get people the not most guaranteed, but the highest probability of results. So I'm looking for that 80%. If you're an edge case where you want to do something crazy on this side, crazy on this side, go do that. Sandbags are not an essential part of a training regimen. They have their own learning curve. They're not at most commercial gyms, obviously, or most home gyms. So they're cool to use. Cool. Fuck yeah, bro, do it. But as far as programming goes, just figure it out, dude. Go to YouTube, type in sandbag lifting, and I'm sure you'll find some guy that he's all about that. What do you think about the Naked Warrior book as exercises with equipment? It's just body weight training. That's it. It's push-ups and split squats or pistols with body weight training. If that's all you want to do, then go read the book and do what it says. I mean, there's not really much to it more than that. It explains to you how to use a few calisthenic movements, and you can do that if you want to be very simplistic, with your physical training. Do you think the food pyramid is wrong and eggs and meat are intentionally demonized so people are weak? I don't think they're intentionally demonized so people are weak. I know that science has been busted for a long time because of financial incentives, going back to the 1950s, because of lobbying, because of big food, because of big pharma, because of big agriculture. And you have to understand within the scientific community, modern science today, because of the replication crisis and because of the perverse incentives, it's not about finding the truth. It's about presenting a theory, it being a pet theory, it having, as I said, academic notoriety and reputation attached to it, and then it just gets reinforced over time. So the old food pyramid, where it was predominantly carbohydrate based and don't eat much meat, eggs. I don't agree with that food pyramid. I think a better food pyramid would be more like it's sort of like an evenly split circle where it's about 33 between fat, carbohydrates, and protein. Almost a Mediterranean style split. But as far as there being an intentional secret Gnostic campaign where there's a conspiracy to make people weak, no, just human beings. We're human. We make mistakes with our reasoning capabilities, especially in groups. The idea of the wisdom of the crowd, I don't think is very correct. It's oftentimes the madness of crowds, especially when it's people that really want to be intelligent. They're playing for small stakes games with reputation, and that leads to just stupid ideas being replicated over time. So hopefully that answered the question. What's the minimum routine to keep people healthy? Bodyweight exercises hypothetically could be enough if you know how to do them, but it's still learning a broad range of exercises and knowing how to progress them, which most people actually don't know how to do. If you do weighted chin-ups and weighted dips and weighted Bulgarian split squats, you can build a lot of muscle. That's one of the principles of my upcoming program, bar zero. But most people don't do that. They just do push-ups, some chin-ups, probably not even chin-ups, they never even get there. Maybe do some body weight squats, and they don't understand progressive overload. They don't understand any actual biomechanical, physiological anatomy principles at all. They just get stuck doing the same shit. So sure, hypothetically, you could do body weight only, and you could build a bunch of muscle. Most of you guys are not going to do that. If you want to go do that, buy the program when it comes out, or go follow somebody, again, on YouTube who's a gymnast, and they'll show you how to do that and do what they say. As far as the absolute minimum routine, 2 working sets a week per major muscle group. That's the minimum routine. That's the minimum level of volume to maintain muscle mass, lean body mass, according to the scientific literature. And that doesn't mean it'll work for all people. Some people will start losing excuse me, start losing muscle mass doing that low volume. But that's the scientific minimum. Any more questions, people? We got time. Thank you. You're awesome. You're welcome. Yeah, the practical minimum, if I had to do a minimum routine to maintain muscle mass, I would go to the gym. There's the other factor. I'm not a body weight guy. I use all different kinds of equipment. I think you should know how to use all tools. I would go to the gym and I would pick out 2 exercises per major muscle group, and I would do 1 set to failure on all of those exercises, and it'd be maybe about probably about at least 12 movements, of maybe up to 20, and that would be my basic routine at least once a week, hopefully twice a week. Let's see, what is your favorite cigar? What is my favorite cigar? Arturo Fuentes Don Carlo edition, Eye of the Shark. It's a very limited supply. There's very few of them still to be found, but my most favorite cigar I ever smoked. I stay in hotels a lot with dumbbells, and 50 pounds is heavy, it's very cheap for overload. You don't. The reality is, if you're only training in hotels and all you have is 50-pound dumbbells, sure, you can get as strong as possible, 50 pounds, but it's still only 50 pounds. You know, if those hotels have a chin-up bar, maybe you can do weighted chin-ups and strap the dumbbells to you. You could do that. You could do split squats, maybe on the bench with the 250-pound dumbbells, but you're maxed out. Yeah, this is. Yeah, I have clients where like they travel a lot for, they do hotel gym workouts, and I'm very upfront with them. I'm like, we can maintain muscle, but we're not going to really make any significant progress because you have no way to make progress. You don't have the tools. Yeah, once you're doing 20 reps on every dumbbell exercise with the 50s, what are you going to do? Go up to 40 reps? Like, hypothetically, you could, but your gains are capped. Go to the gym or go to a real gym. Thoughts on 10 milligram boron supplementation for men for testosterone? I mean, guys, the reality of a lot of this shit, it's not going to make any significant difference that you feel. It's totally a placebo effect. Yeah, maybe your free testosterone goes from like 25 to 35. Wow. You really think it's going to build more fucking muscle? It's not. The reality is that most of you guys need to stop bullshitting yourselves with the testosterone supplements and just fucking do steroids. Yeah, that's not my non-medical bro advice. Rather than I'm going to take this and this and this and this and this. When we think about this, fucking go do steroids. Go to your local hardcore gym. Find the biggest motherfucker in there, like Big G, whatever the hell his name is, Big B. Okay, be like, hey, Big B, I'd like to take it to the next level. I think you're the man to help me. And Big B will tell you, all right, man, I know a guy. And maybe you'll have a locker room conversation, or you go out to the car, and you'll get some fucking quality testosterone cypionate and some fucking syringes, and you'll fucking start pinning that shit twice a week, maybe 400 milligrams a week, maybe 500. 500 milligrams used to be like the old sort of standard cycle. Now it's like 300. And you'll fucking go on fucking testosterone, and you'll have the most incredible muscle gains of your life, and you'll feel like fucking Superman, and you'll wonder why the fuck you ever wasted your time with fucking boron. Or, you know what, if you want to just set money on fire, go fucking buy boron and whatever other shit, and pine pollen and some other bullshit. So, it's your life. How long do you recommend training, and how long between sets makes sense to you? So, training, how do you like to train? I think for a good workout, for a productive workout, at least, let's say 3 exercises, doing 1 or 2 hard sets, that could be done, probably in 30 minutes, potentially 20 minutes. It depends upon how heavy you're lifting and knowing your body. For most workouts, if you're doing 4 or 5 exercises, it typically takes around an hour, maybe a bit less, maybe 45 minutes. You could train longer than that. Some guys like to train for a long time. I've seen guys that do 2-hour workouts. I've done 2-hour workouts. It can be productive, but you have to manage your volume. You have to manage your calories. You have to manage your recovery. So there's no hard and fast rule. But I'd say 60 minutes is like the sweet spot. If you can't get in a good workout 60 minutes, I really question your level of effort and intensity. As far as rest periods go, for your big exercises, for your top sets, heavy weights, probably about 3 minutes of rest, maybe even 5 minutes. For smaller stuff, let's say like calves, biceps, I don't think you need 5 minutes in between sets of biceps, or even calves. You can do 1-2 minutes of rest. Yeah, but don't be overly, pedantic with it, overly obsessive. Do I have a weekly workout routine? I do. It's a very basic kind of push-pull style leg split. If you get my PPL program, it's very similar to what I do now. How often do you switch workout routines? I don't really switch things. I've been doing the same exercises for years. I just keep plugging away and trying to get stronger at them. The fundamentals of the training never change. And that goes for everybody. If you are training effectively, your actual workout bank, your list of exercises that you do, they don't really change. Some helpful ways to get through a 72-hour fast. I end up pouring salt in my mouth at this take. Okay. Diet soda is fantastic. Drink some diet soda, get some Diet Coke. You can get some flavored salts. I have some LMT packets here. They're excellent. They're flavored. But the point of a 72-hour fast, I also assume, is just to suffer. This is how we develop willpower, right? We talked about that at the beginning. So drink water, have enough sodium, get enough electrolytes, and use the hunger and go do something. What has the fatherhood taught you thus far? A lot of things, more than I could put into a broadcast. But the fatherhood, the way I model it, it's if you're a man and you want to go through all the stages of life that you possibly could in terms of your own evolution, you want to evolve to the maximum, you have to become a father at some point. Why? Because it takes you out of your own life and it invests your life into others, into your children, and you'll never love your children. You'll never love anything more than you love your children or your wife, and it requires more of you, it requires growth from you. And every dad that is a dad knows this. That's why fathers have a common language that they speak. And when you're a single man, you don't understand this. It's only conceptual. It's only theoretical. But that's what you'll learn if you ever become a father. Why do you think people with nutrition get so defensive in their training diet, basically attacking perspective, it's called behavior? Nature of human beings. You guys will hear me say that a lot on these broadcasts as I do them. It's the nature of people. People are cultish. The instinct for religion, for groupthink, or really for groupthink, I should say, not so much necessarily religion. Religion requires some advanced cognitive thinking. But the instinct for groupthink predominates in all human beings. It's hard to overcome. You have to be very aware to not be taken by it. And for things like training, diet, people develop cult followings around them. People want to be right. They want to be correct. They want to be the one that holds the knowledge, one that has all the answers. And so when someone else has a counter perspective, a heterodox opinion, it's a big argument. You guys have followed me a long time know I'm not very orthodox. I'm not zealous in my training methods. Lots of things work. There's lots of different ways to train. I've created 40 plus different programs because there's so many different ways to get results. Same thing with diet. Lots of things can work. Mediterranean diet can work. Macros, bro dieting, very obviously works. Carnivore, maybe that works. Maybe keto works. Maybe being vegan, you can make it work. Lots of things can work. The fundamentals, the first principles, those are the things that remain the same. If someone wants to have a big ideological, that's the word I was looking for, ideological. Someone wants to have a big ideological argument about that, do it with somebody else. I'm not one to argue about training. It always comes down to the same stuff. Lift, train hard, heavy weights, eat enough protein. You can arrange that. There's many different arrangements. It's like music. How many different ways are there to arrange a symphony, to arrange a song? How many different ways can you set up counts? You can do a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. You could 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You could do so many different things. If you do it well, at the end, you're going to have a piece of music that is hopefully enjoyable to listen to and to play. Love the MSP program. Much love from Japan. Thank you. Muscle Strength Power program is what he's referring to. What's your favorite or preferred type of meat for eating protein overall health? Beef. I love beef. I love red meat. If you get 90-10 ground beef or even 93-7, something like that. If not beef, chicken is fine too. But I typically oscillate between beef and fish, actually. So seafood is very good for you. Seafood, omega-3 fatty acids, lots of micronutrients. So beef and seafood is what I switch off in between each day. Thanks for your response earlier. Off topic, I think X is better than Twitter. X is way better than Twitter ever was by far. The thing that people don't appreciate, and I've been on Twitter, I've been on X a long time now. From when Trump got elected back in 2016 up until Elon bought the platform, the censorship was maddening. There were periods of time, there were months, there were years even, where my account did not grow by a single follower. It actually went backwards. There are periods of time where you were shadow banned, which was real. You'd be shadow banned and you'd be tweeting to avoid. You'd get no likes, you'd get no retweets. It just you knew your account was being tampered with. And then Elon comes along. And then, along with the tampering, you also could get banned from the platform for anything. The blue check, shitlib brigade, they had total control over the discourse. Elon buys the platform, that all changes literally within a month. Changes overnight. And you're able to grow again. And the people that struggle to grow now, who are on old Twitter, they don't understand that the meta has changed. The average Twitter user has gotten more sophisticated. This has happened on every platform. It's happened on YouTube. It's happened on Instagram. It's happened on TikTok, even those are video platforms. It used to be on YouTube 10 years ago. You could just film yourself on your phone, wave it around, no lighting, no nothing. You could grow. Now on YouTube, if you want to grow, you have to have pro quality level production. Twitter, X is no different. If you want to grow on X, you have to be a fluent conversationalist and understand the meta of the platform. Those of you guys who like the game, if you play fighting games, you know what I'm talking about, the meta, the fundamental principles of how to play the game. The meta on Twitter, the meta on X has changed the last 2 years. You have to be able to storytell. You have to be able to do this, be good on camera, be able to do videos. You have to be able to see the global brain and be able to capture people's attention, understand persuasion. If you don't want to do any of that, you want to pretend it's Twitter 2015 and you should grow just because you think you should, not going to fucking happen. The same way if you want to grow on Facebook now, you got to pay for ads. If you want to grow on X now, you actually have to be an interesting, compelling person that's able to craft a message. And a lot of people can't do that. Maybe they could do it 5 years ago, but they can't do it now. Sorry. But no, I love the new X. It's fantastic. Thoughts on cardio 2 days per week between endurance. Okay, thoughts is not a question. What are you actually asking? You only have 2 days per week to do cardio. Doing zone 2 training will be a waste of time if you're only doing one session a week. So make both those days high intensity training. I like what Andy Galpin says about everything work. Yeah, concepts are few, methods are many. Very good. I agree. You could say principles are few, but methods are many. Same thing. What types of investments do you invest in financially, stocks, crypto, X? I don't talk about my investments and stuff like that. It's not very exciting. It's just basic index funds and everything's an autopilot. And I don't look at any of it. What you need to be doing is you need to fucking get a job and you need to increase your overall income. The more income you make, then as your income goes up, now you can start getting creative and seeing, do I invest? And if you really want to, you really want to build some wealth, you want to get rich, you want to have a rich life, you need to start your own business. That's what you do. You have a workout program for women. I'm 5'4", 108 pounds. I have hyperthyroidism. It's 100 pounds. I do. It's called the Bikini Body Program. I'll post a link to it after I get off the broadcast, or I can do it right now, actually. Let me go find it. But it's for women, 3 days a week. And it's if you're whether looking to gain weight or lose weight, that's my program for girls. Very simple 12-body program. And basically, it is what it says. You train butt pretty much every workout, and it works fantastic. Program. All right, there you go. Yeah, it's on my timeline. How much does playing dynamic works with best for tennis help maintaining strength? I mean, what kind of strength are we talking about? Being athletic and being really strong on bench press are not the same thing. If you want to maintain your big 3 lifts, you got to do those big 3 lifts. You could not do any of the big 3 lifts and go be really good at basketball and tennis. The best basketball players, 10 players in the world can't bench for shit. So, I mean, it's 2 different skill sets. What is orthorexia? Orthorexia is an unhealthy obsession with eating healthy. What was your biggest breakthrough in online business? Yeah, my first dollar I ever made, this was, some of you guys might remember this. It was 2016. It was 2016. It was a Build Bigger Arms program. I sold it for $20. I had to email the program to everybody. It was a Google Doc. It was a PayPal button on my website, and I know how to automate anything. But I remember I sold, I think, like maybe 20 copies of that. I made like $400 on Twitter back in 2016, and I was fucking mind blown. It's like, wow, this life-changing money. Because I realized if you can sell one thing one time for 20, you could sell 1,000 times, 10,000 times for 20. You can make millions of dollars. I made millions of dollars at this point. But it showed me that you can sell things online. You can be your solo business. This is before personal branding. It's before being a Instagram fucking or Amazon millionaire. All this shit now that we take for granted in the online business world. If you told someone 7-8 years ago, hey, I'm gonna start my online business, you're gonna do what? What do you mean? That didn't exist. Even the word influencer, personal brand, like those there's no terminology to describe any of those things. But I remember that I made my first $400 that month, and after that I knew this is what we were going to be doing. But also I'd seen other people be doing that as well. I'd been being paid online many years before that, working for John Meadows. And I saw that the internet digital economy is growing. And again, there wasn't the language to describe what was happening, but I knew that the meta of reality was changing in regards to how people were going to run businesses and how people were going to run business and build wealth in the future. I could see that in 2013. It was not going to be like the past. So I'm going to have tendonitis, or this is just 3 months off lifting. I would talk to different orthopedists. I would hire a very experienced, not personal trainer, but physical therapist that actually lifts, that's buff, and ask him for a second opinion. I don't have the image of your shoulder at all, so I can't tell you that. If you want to book a consult, I could go take a look. Not medical advice, obviously, but if your rotator cuff is super torn up and hanging by a thread, yeah, you'd probably need surgery. But if he's saying just take 3 months off lifting, that tells me that your lifting is shitty. You don't really know what you're doing. You're probably not doing enough posterior deltoids, not strengthening your back. You're not strengthening the overall shoulder girdle, and that's correctable. I have a program for that. It's called the Shoulder Program. You should go buy it, actually. On that note, I'll post that on timeline as well. Shoulders have always been something, a specialty of mine. AJAC guide to shoulder training. So, and there we go. It's on the timeline. All right. You think college degrees are still worth it? It depends on the degree. Do you want to be a doctor? You want to be an MDDO? You want to be an engineer? Go to college. STEM gets oftentimes cited. Like STEM degrees, yes, they are useful typically. Humanities, yeah, maybe not so much, but there are ways it could be useful. But if you go to college and you get the stereotypical liberal arts degree, that's what I did, fucking useless. So it's not that college is stupid. It's about what do you actually get an education in? What is the job market for that? My last one for today, I'm going to use really respect old school bodybuilding school back. Is everybody making 30 respect thinking? Yeah, I mean, I've always referenced older guys a lot just to establish that, when I talk about Broscience, like I say that both seriously and cheekily. What is Broscience? Broscience is men who are in the arena of working their bodies, training, trying to improve, and testing what works and does not work, and doing what is deemed anecdotal science and old medicine, even. But so 1930s, bodybuilders. This is more 1940s, but John Grimek, he's got some good training literature. The reason why I study older guys is because I want to look at their training and see what worked and did not work. And how did they think about training? And then you find patterns, right? You do pattern recognition, you find the principles are. No question. I want to say thank you for Accelerated Fat Loss 5.0. Finally lost my man boobs at age 30. After years of going in circles, you're the man, AJAC. Fantastic. Good for you, brother. I'm going to clip that out later and use that to promote that product. So for those of you guys who are wondering what that is, so Accelerated Fat Loss 5.0, that is my fat loss program, scientifically Broscience designed. It's a very simple macro calorie-based program, puts you in a deficit, uses refeeds, planned refeeds. It has a very simple cardio and lifting scheme. And if you follow the program, you lose body fat, you get results. If you don't follow the program, well, you can follow the program. Follow the program. All right. My mouth is getting dry, guys. I actually have no water down here. I think the waters are upstairs. Yeah, they are. All right. So are there any final questions before we hop off? Hopefully we've all had a good time. I still have 2 weeks left. I'll send my transformation pics to your DMs when I'm finished. Yeah, fantastic. Please do. Please do. I appreciate that. Any final questions, guys? Still got 5 minutes. Putting my foot into nutrition coaching. You guys should be finding more stuff around that. Are you asking if you want to become a nutrition coach? Okay. The name of certification just completely slipped my mind. I had it on the tip of my tongue. you could see that little data point leaving in real time. The precision nutrition. There we go. I got certified in precision nutrition is the one that you want to get. So just type that into this Google search, precision nutrition certification. Go get that cert. It's a great one, and then from there, start building your practice. Yeah, and hopefully you already have some experience. And if you think you're pretty good at it already, send me a DM. I am actually looking to hire a nutritionist right now, so perhaps we could talk. All right, last question. I have had morbidly obese friends. They want to do the work. I mean, it would work for them, but the fat loss program is designed for guys who are not morbidly obese. It's a 2-month diet. You can reasonably lose about 15 pounds. Some guys lose 20. There's a lot of, especially if they're more overweight. If you're morbidly obese, a diet is not going to fix that person by itself. That person, they need an environmental change. They need probably a therapist to talk about their childhood. I'm not trying to be funny. They probably do. They need to do some deep inner work on their self-esteem, their self-image. They need a lot of things that just, a meal plan and a guide to eating is not going to solve for them. If it was that simple, they've done it already. People who are morbidly obese, you are looking at somebody that is wearing their psychological trauma and emotions on their body. It's not just food that's the problem. The food is usually a coping mechanism of some kind for deeper seated issues. Good question. But no, I would never send my fat loss program to somebody who's like 350. It's just do this. Not helpful. Yeah, this is why Ozempic and Wegovy, the fat loss peptides exist. Yeah, that's someone that actually would be a candidate for GLP-1s and GRPs. All right, I lift in the evening. One more question. I lift in the evening, 6 p.m., come home, have Greek yogurt, protein powder, white rice, blueberries, tastes great for muscle growth. Optimizing muscle growth is getting enough protein, enough calories, period. Here's the thing with optimizing. How do I optimize? Once you hit the threshold of sufficiency, there's not a more optimalist level. If you're having 40, 50 grams of high quality protein post-training, you can have 100. You could try that. You're doing a large bolus. Is that more optimal? Maybe you get more muscle growth over so many weeks and months. You have to measure it out and see. But based on what you're telling me, you're having whey protein powder, Greek yogurt, you have rice, carbohydrates, you have blueberries, you're good. Yeah, I mean, that works. If you're not growing, it's probably because overall you're not eating enough. Or maybe you're older and you're, like I said last night, maybe you're older in your 50s and your expectations for muscle growth are just not realistic at this point because hormonally you're not a young man anymore. Most guys don't put on a ton of muscle in their 50s. Not to say it couldn't happen. I have one of my oldest clients, he's in his 70s, and he has gotten more muscular. That's because he never trained until he was in his 70s. So he was not a lifelong lifter. So yes, things are possible, but only in certain situations. Anyways, good talking to all of you guys. Love you all. We'll do this again next week, I think. We'll try to do maybe like a twice weekly hour of power kind of show. I like doing these. This is fun. So, but hopefully everybody learned something. If you have any more questions, send me a DM, and I'll talk to you all again. Adios, people.